What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the next episode of Sports Talk with Hawk. Today we finish out with the tight ends and the linebackers. Now, the linebackers is a broader group most of the time, but we're just going to do a generalization of that specific position, whether it's outside linebacker, inside linebacker. Everything else is done. So we're going to do the linebackers and the tight ends. Let's finish out the draft rankings. We are 1 week away from the draft, and I got a couple other things I want to talk about. Here we go. All right, guys, here we go. Linebackers and tight ends. Most of the time, they are the ones matched up on the field. So here we go. Let's get into it. We're going to start with the linebackers. And like I said, this is going to be the generalization. I'm going to give you 7 instead of 5. We're going to give you 7 because there is multiple positions of linebacker. Number 1 on the list is Jalon Walker. I like him out of Georgia. He is really, really explosive. He's definitely an outside linebacker, 6'2", 245 pounds, lightning quick. He could be used as an edge in a 34 defense. Absolutely has that potential, has that quickness. He reminds me a lot of Sean Phillips when I watch him play. And his technique is very, very good. He was coached really, really well at Georgia. He is worthy of a top 15 pick pretty easily. Now, I am going to do my mock draft. So you guys are watching this Wednesday night. Tomorrow we've got a different type of podcast. Tomorrow and then potentially Friday, I'm hoping to do the NBA playoff podcast as we look ahead to the NBA playoffs. But I got a couple different things that we're going to finish out this week with since we got the draft rankings done. But Jalon Walker, when you watch how everything played through the year, he doesn't get out of position really easily. His field prowess is very well defined. I like him as a 34 outside linebacker. I like what he brings to the table. He does have a lot of strength, so he will hold up against tight ends. He'll hold up against tackles okay. I like what he brings. Jalon Walker, perfect size, perfect body type, speed, twitchiness, the power, absolutely is the number 1 linebacker in this draft. Now, second, his SEC opponent, Jahad Campbell from Alabama. 6'3", 245 pounds as well. He plays more of a middle linebacker setup. But here's the thing. When they started moving him around, his production, and I use that quote in quotations because when you're constantly moving people around, it's hard to really gauge at the NFL level what they're going to be great at. I think he is a really good middle linebacker. He's tall, very, very smart. He does get lost sometimes, though. Like, he can read plays very well, but he does get lost sometimes, and I'm not sure if an outside linebacker position is really good for him. I think middle linebacker is better, and I think he can grow into that position. Obviously, he was well coached. Saban, Kalen DeBoer, he had really good coaching at Alabama as well. I don't know if there's a lot of potential. He ran a 4.52, so he's not slow by any means. He can cover the guy over the middle. He's got a really good body type. I like how he looks. He could end up being a tweener back, but I think he needs a clear direction. That's why he's second, because I think Jalon has a little bit more flexibility. Jihad, I think, needs to be what he is, either middle linebacker or tweener backer, to be able to really play to the best of his ability. But he is the second best linebacker in this draft. Number 3 for me is Carson Schwessinger. I like him, the 6'2", 225-pound linebacker from UCLA. A year after Latu, middle linebacker guy. He could be a weak inside linebacker. He could be the will. He's got natural abilities. He flows really, really well. I don't want to put a ton on him, but like an Alex Anzalone, looking at maybe probably, well, I guess really right now, you're really looking at more of like a Will Bolton. And that's the type of player that he is. He's not your best, but he's going to make plays. And I've said this before, this draft is filled with those. And I don't understand, because everybody is so starstruck, and you can tell how starstruck the NFL GMs have gotten to. They're like, there's no star, there's no guy we need to go get. Okay, you need to go get. How many teams right now just need to go get players that will help them win one more game? That's all they need to do. Help them win one more game. The Commanders, the Bills, the Ravens, the Lions, all these teams just like, I just need to be able to win one more game. We can get to the NFC Championship game. We can get to the AFC Championship game. But we need one player that's going to help us win one more game. This draft is filled with one more game players. Guys that will make an impact when you need them to. Unsung, underrated guys. Carson Schwessinger is that guy. Really smart, natural ability, flows in the linebacker position really well. He is my third best linebacker. Number 4, I have loved Barrett Carter from Clemson for a couple years now. 6'1", 230 pounds, not the fastest, ran a 4.63. I think he is only an early down linebacker, which means he's going to fit in a 34 defense better than a 43, and that's fine. That's fine. I mean, you had Ray Lewis, but then you had a ginormous 250-pound middle linebacker as the guy that was next to him. He was the run stuffer backer. Barrett Carter fits that role. He'll be there on first down. He'll be there on second down. On third down, you'll take him off. You'll go with your nickel package, and he won't be a part of it. Big deal. It's not that he can't play a zone coverage. It's just that's not his strength. But his strength is being really, really smart. His technical definement will absolutely need to be built up in pass coverage. But when it comes to run stuffing, he can absolutely sniff out that hole and get to it and block it. Absolutely get to it and block it. So I like Barrett Carter as my 4th best linebacker. 5th best linebacker is Demetrius Knight Jr. from South Carolina. Loved the film from him. He is absolutely a Mike linebacker. Loved his film. I just don't think his ceiling is as high as what Barrett Carter could be for the amount of impact, but he's going to be your simple middle linebacker player. Reminds me a lot of a Gary Brackett. Reminds me a lot of a Teddy Bruschi. These guys weren't big. You're not talking about big guys. You're talking about smart guys. Smart guys that have long careers because they know how to play the position. Demetrius Knight knows how to play the position, I think, with a little bit of coaching, maybe a late day 2 pick, I think he works. I think he could get picked maybe earlier in the second round. I draft him in the third, but he could get drafted in the second round. The amount of teams that need impact linebackers is lower than the teams that need defensive linemen at this point, or offensive linemen. It's not a sexy draft, but that's okay. We've gone over this. All right, number 6 for me, Chris Paul Jr. from Ole Miss, 6'1", 235 pounds, but he did run a 4.63. He is probably more of a traditional will linebacker. He does not have the ability to be that strong side. He is going to be the weak side. Put him behind the strongest defensive front side of your defensive line. He is going to be a little bit of a project. I think he does get out of position. He takes the wrong gaps on run defense, and pass defense takes some bad angles. But you're drafting for potential, especially if he falls to late second. He can play. You're just going to have to coach him up through training camp, and that's probably all the time he's going to need to just be a good, decent linebacker. Sometimes it's all you need, and they're cheap. It's a rookie. Let's not try to go overboard with all this. All right, my 7th linebacker is one from Central Arkansas. I'm not sure if he's going to be an edge or not. I don't think he's fast enough to be a linebacker. But I wanted to throw him in here because he is technically slated with the linebackers. David Walker from Central Arkansas. He is currently looking at probably being a rotational pass rusher. He's 6'2", 260 pounds. Runs a 4.7. He's not a linebacker. He is definitely more of a edge rush, third down specialist. But you guys, if you've been watching for any time, know that I love the little school guys. I love watching guys like him come from a little school and make a big impact. Look out for Philly to draft him. Really, look out for Philadelphia to draft him. Because he presents what they want to have on third down. He's got really good quickness. He's got a great spark off the line. And in third down packages, David Walker, everybody will know where he's at. Except on the Philadelphia Eagle line when you got to know where all 4 of them are at. I think Philly could really benefit from drafting him. Cheap, gives them depth on the defensive line. A specific pass rusher who can drop into zone on zone blitz schemes. I think Vic Fangio could really use him. And honestly, that's really the team that I hope that drafts David Walker. I think he's got a bright future. He may not be drafted till the 4th round. But I really think in a specific role, he can really present a lot of options to some teams. All right, now let's move into tight end. We got through the linebackers. Now let's move to tight end. This one really for me is straight up simple. There is not much argument with this one. 1 and 2 are very clear. 3, 4, 5, and then I'll give you a sleeper as well. So number 1 for me, the reason he's number 1 is because I think he is the better Swiss Army knife. Tyler Warren from Penn State, 6'6", 255 pounds. Ran a 4.68 at the combine. As a tight end, the guy can throw the ball. The guy can run the ball. The guy can catch the ball. The guy can tackle. This guy is a Swiss Army knife top 10 pick easily. I am drafting Tyler Warren easily. In fact, what I really think would be the best case scenario for Geno Smith is if they were to draft Tyler Warren and already have Brock Bowers. I know it sounds weird, but I really think the way the Raiders are currently set, Bowers constantly being in the slot, Warren being the down back on the line of scrimmage, I love it. I love it. 2 tight ends, and you probably can't cover either of them. Geno Smith would have a really huge year, by the way. That would be a lot of dump-off passes with a lot of yards after the catch, 6'6" receivers. Big bodies, box out. I mean, hitches with these guys are going to be money. I think Tyler Warren's a top 10 pick. Jacksonville, look out for them to be a sneaky Tyler Warren pick. Look out for them to be a sneaky Tyler Warren pick. They got rid of Evan Ingram. I know they like Strange. Tyler Warren, after trading away Christian Kirk, I think that with Brian Thomas Jr. gives them a really good weapon set for Trevor Lawrence. Because this, in all honesty, is the make it or break it year for Lawrence. I think either he's going to play really well or he's going to play bad and probably retire because he doesn't love football the same way. The desire isn't the same, and it could be because of just being in Jacksonville. They'll draft a running back probably in the second round, which is fine. Look out for Jacksonville to take Tyler Warren. Yeah, it'd be the 5th pick. I know everybody's like, what about offensive line? They could. And my gut says it will be offensive line. But when you start playing everything out, Tyler Warren, offensive head coach, I think would be really good because you can get some value later on in the second round at other positions, notably offensive line. They can do some things. That's my sneaky pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Tyler Warren. Watch for it. All right, second one, Colston Loveland, hand down. I really hope he doesn't make it past 15 because if he does, the Chargers are going to be trading up to try to get him because Jim Harbaugh would love to have him in Los Angeles on the Chargers helping Justin Herbert. 6'5", 245 pounds, ran a slower 40 than Tyler Warren did, but he's really fast. He's a little bit lankier. He's more dynamic as a receiver than a blocker. He does struggle with blocking, but he is very, very good in route running. Crisp, clean route running by Colston Loveland makes him a nightmare to have to cover. He's a lot like Travis Kelce and George Kittle. He can grow into being a blocker because Kittle has grown into being a really good blocker. He can absolutely grow into that. But he has that body type, a little bit skinnier frame like Kelce is. He'll grow into it, and I like it. All right, so 3rd, 4th, 5th, and then sleeper. For me, my 3rd is Elijah Arroyo. I love Arroyo because of the position matchups that he plays. He had a very good year with Cam Ward in Miami, and I could even see Tennessee drafting him maybe in the second round if he makes it that far. I wouldn't by any stretch of the imagination. I like Chig Okonkwo for them. They got a bunch of needs everywhere else. Don't do it. But Elijah Arroyo from Miami, 6'4", 245 pounds, ran a 4.70 as well. He is a very, very modern tight end that basically just presents the natural mismatches of a tight end. But he's a much better blocker, really, than the first two. He's a better blocker than Warren, and he's a better blocker than Loveland. So your teams that would draft him kind of expand when it comes to that. The Rams could draft him. The Chargers still could draft him. I don't think he goes in the first round, but he easily could go early second. This could be, Arroyo could fall to the Jaguars in the second round, and the Jaguars could draft him in the second round. There's a lot of different ways that this draft can play out because nobody loves anybody. At least that's all the smoke they're telling you. So it plays out a little bit differently. Now, who do I have sitting in 4th? I have Mason Taylor from LSU. He will have the early ability in the passing game, 6'5", 255 pounds. Big, big-bodied tight end. Reminds me a lot of a Marcus Pollard. Ken Dilger reminds me a lot of Algie Crumpler. That is the style of play as a tight end that he will have. He can block really well. He reads defenses very well. Has solid route running. Not as crisp as Loveland, but has solid route running. And he's going to probably be a starter. He will probably be a starter. There are multiple teams that need a starting tight end. I would say look for the Jets to draft him because I think the Jets are going to run the ball. They'll want Mason Taylor, and I think he would help a guy like Justin Fields. I don't know if Fields is going to work out great. No clue. But the reality is Mason Taylor sitting for me at 4th. And 5th is Harold Fandon Jr. from Bowling Green. 6'4", 230 pounds, ran a 4.70 as well. He's got decent size. Obviously not as tall as Warren. He's got decent size. His feet, he's got good footwork. He struggles in the run blocking, though, which is slightly surprising. But most think he's going to be a receiving tight end to the next level. That's how a lot of these guys are now coming in with all these spread offenses. Very few know how to run block well. That's why I like Mason Taylor going to a team that wants a tight end that can block and then roll out. Guys like TJ Hawkinson are really, really important now. Block, get out, and go. Tyler Higbee with the Rams, that's why they loved him. He can block, get out, and roll. Noah Fant, guys like that are really, really coveted right now because they can do everything they need you to do because you got to be able to fake like you're blocking to get those bootlegs. It just has to happen. Fannin struggles with blocking. His footwork isn't great at the line of scrimmage, but it's okay in the route running. So we'll see where he ends up. He's my 5th best tight end. I like him. A team drafting him isn't going to be upset. But the way that it's going to play out, I think he'll probably be a second tight end on a team right now. I don't think he'll be starting. I don't think he'll be starting. All right, let's go to my sleeper. And we're going to be going down the list to a guy that I think is actually going to be day 3. I have watched this guy play a couple times through the year. And I'm looking at it right now. I think the weird thing is with some of these guys. So tight end is a normally, and I use this as a general term, a throwaway type pick. You're drafting him to see if he can beat anybody else out. That's what you're drafting for. Jackson Hawes from Georgia Tech. I like him. 6'5", 260 pounds. He is a run blocking tight end. He is your second tight end, clearly second tight end. But I watched the game against Georgia. I watched the game against Notre Dame. This guy's important. He is a physical tight end. Great at smash mouth. The Detroit Lions, stay with me here. The Detroit Lions, the San Francisco 49ers, potentially a team like the Ravens, because we'll get into some of the trade stuff here in a second, and that's how we'll close it out. Teams like that need a big blocking guy that can also catch the ball, we'll be looking at Jackson Hawes. I like him. He's my sleeper. I definitely think he'll be drafted day 3. But I think the team that drafts him, it will be very simply, you're going to be our blocking tight end. But then when it comes down to the goal line, you're so tall, we're going to use you. You're going to be a mismatch down at the goal line if we were to spread you out wide. Just post him up, baby. Throw the ball up and let him go get it. So Jackson Hawes is my sleeper. All right, let's go over some of the trade stuff, and let's go ahead and close this out. So here is the trade info that I have been going over. So recently, the GM for the Ravens has been non-committal on Mark Andrews. That doesn't really surprise me necessarily, but I think what it is they don't want to pay him that much money with the surgence of Isaiah Likely. Another guy is Dallas Goedert in Philadelphia. I think he will be a draft day trade to a team kind of like how Ertz went to from Arizona to the Commanders last year and McBride fully took over. I think it's going to be the same thing. 1-year deal. If they fall in love with the guy, they'll play it on a 1-year deal after that. Dallas Goedert and Mark Andrews, both with the injury concerns, both with getting older, but both can help a team out so much. Teams like the Saints, who really don't have Juwan Johnson's decent. Teams like the Chargers, teams like right now, especially with the way everything is kind of playing out injury-wise, teams like the Jets. Jonnu Smith was really good for the Dolphins last year. Was they're seemingly their most consistent offensive player. The Patriots absolutely could use a guy that is used to being in big spots. The trade rumors that are coming out, like today or yesterday, Jalen Ramsey is on the block. Oh my gosh, I did say it. Go back and listen to the Dolphin snapshot. I did talk about Jalen Ramsey. They are going to trade Ramsey. They're probably only going to get a 3rd-round pick for him. They may get a 2nd because of how this draft is. They could get a 2nd. They will not get a 1st. They could get a 2nd because of how this draft is. That is going to be big for a team. So I'm going to give you 5 teams real fast that I think could really go after Jalen Ramsey, primarily looking at controlling everything for this year. Number 1, the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills will absolutely be in on it. If the Dolphins are smart, they're not going to trade him to a inter-division rival, but nonetheless, the Bills 1,000% should pick up the phone and call to get Ramsey to play in that secondary. Number 2, the Commanders. Jalen Ramsey and Marshawn Lattimore. It would be something the Commanders have absolutely played and done recently. Getting everybody for a year. Let's see where we're at while we're trying to still build the rest of the team. Let's get established guys, veteran guys that can play. Number 3, Atlanta Falcons. Jalen Ramsey, AJ Terrell. Makes sense. If you can get away with only giving up a 3rd-round pick, go get him. You need your secondary to be strengthened. It's one of your biggest weaknesses. Go get Ramsey for a 3rd-round pick. 100%. Another team, watch out for the Texans. And I say this because of the way the Texans have been running everything. Watch out for the Texans. They signed Derek Stingley to a long deal. You bring in Jalen Ramsey to be your 2nd corner. Think that out loud. Jalen Ramsey as a 2nd corner. You'll have one of the better tandems. It'll rejuvenate Ramsey because he's on a young team. That team is electric. It's fiery. Everybody loves playing for DeMeco Ryans. The Texans could swoop in here. And they easily could make a move and get Jalen Ramsey from the Miami Dolphins. All right, the 5th team. Who else could really benefit from Jalen Ramsey? And I know you're thinking, well, there's a lot. Well, yes, but it's got to all work out. Something that they have that could play in their favor is the 49ers. And here's why. They've got 12 draft picks. So if they don't want to trade a 2nd, they can get away with trading a 3rd and a 6th. They win. Because Ramsey will be better than the 3rd-round player and the 6th-round player. Most likely. And Ramsey helps you try to compete again this year. Because I don't think they're waiting around to compete. They may be. We could see how you get traded on draft night. I don't think they're waiting around, though. So, 3 big names. Dallas Goedert, tight end, Philly. Mark Andrews, tight end for Baltimore. And Jalen Ramsey now are all in the trade mill as we hit the final week before the draft. Gotta love it. All right, guys, that concludes. I will probably do a special teams as well. Special teams doesn't have a ton. I will just mention them as we go into some of the other things, probably. But that concludes everything else. Make sure to go back. If you haven't listened before, Go back and listen to all the previous draft ranking podcasts. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Deeply appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure to subscribe, like the podcast, and I will see you guys tomorrow. 1 week from the draft. 1 week. We're almost there. All right, guys. Have a fantastic rest of your night, and we'll talk again tomorrow. Until then, make it the best day you can. For Sports Talk with Hawk, I'm Hawk, and I'm out. Take it easy.